عندنا 25 أذار بعتبره خط أحمر نحن ما حدا يلعب معه.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us on FutureTV. I'm Linda Tamim and these are today's top stories. An Iranian delegation arrives in Lebanon to participate in the autopsy of Majid al-Majid, head of the Abdullah Azzam Brigade. Lebanese President Michel Sleiman and Interior Minister Marwan Shadbel meet in Babda to discuss the security situation in the country. And 25 militants are killed following Iraqi missile strikes on the city of Ramadi. An Iranian delegation arrives in Lebanon to participate in the autopsy of Saudi national and the head of the Abdullah Azzam Brigades, Majid al-Majid. The Iranian Foreign Ministry announced the delegation will be comprised of judiciary and foreign ministry officials. Majid, who was recently arrested by Army intelligence, died on Saturday after the deterioration of his health. President Michel Sleiman has met with Interior Minister Marwan Shadbel in Babda Palace over the latest security developments. Talks also touched on the ongoing investigations in the latest explosions in Beirut. Lebanese Forces MP Antoine Zahra has defended President Michel Sleiman against a campaign launched by the March 8 Alliance, accusing it of assaulting his authorities. Zahra also accused the Hezbollah-led March 8 camp of preventing Sleiman from exercising his authorities by blocking his attempts to form a non-partisan government along with Premier-designate Tamam Slam. First military examining magistrate Judge Riyad Abu Ghida has questioned Arab Democratic Party Politburo Chief Rifat Eid for threatening the internal security forces. Abu Ghida issued last month the summons for Eid to interrogate him over allegations that he threatened the ISF intelligence branch. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut says there has been a falsified message circulating on social media regarding security precautions for American citizens in the country. The embassy had warned its citizens to avoid certain Western-style establishments and, if possible, to leave the country, citing heightened security concerns.
On Sunday, the U.S. Embassy updated its security message to U.S. citizens who are here in Lebanon. Due to the recent bombings and some of the other incidents of violence that have occurred here in recent months, the U.S. government strongly urges U.S. citizens who are here to exercise extreme caution if they're traveling about in Lebanon. The message complements our October travel warning, where we urged U.S. citizens to avoid travel to Lebanon if possible due to the security situation that we have here. There has been a message circulating on social media claiming to be from the embassy. That's not from the embassy. The only official message that we have you can find on our webpage, as well as our Twitter and Facebook pages, and that is lebanon.usembassy.gov is our webpage, and on Twitter and Facebook it's both /US Embassy Beirut, and there you can see the official message in its entirety and see what it has to say. So don't believe everything you see on the social media. All of this, of course, is done because we just want everyone to be safe here in Lebanon, and being more aware, being more vigilant is part of being safe. And so that's why we have the message out.
At least 34 jihadists from the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant are killed in clashes with other rebel movements in Syria's Idlib province. The deaths come amid fighting on several fronts, pitting several coalitions of rebel fighters against jihadists from ISIL. The group has executed media activists, relief workers, and other civilians that were held captive in the city of Aleppo. And now for other news around the world in brief, the Turkish government has fired 350 police officers in Ankara overnight, including heads of major departments, amid a vast corruption scandal that has ensnared key allies of Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Reports say the officers included chiefs of financial crimes, anti-smuggling, cybercrime, and organized crime units. Iraqi missile strikes on the city of Ramadi has killed 25 militants. On another note, Iraq's Prime Minister has urged residents and tribes in Fallujah to drive out al-Qaeda-linked fighters to avoid an all-out battle in the besieged city, a sign that the government could be paving the way for an imminent military offensive. And in Africa, Sudan and South Sudan have agreed to consider setting up a joint force to protect vital oil fields during the ongoing crisis in the south. The discussion was broached during a visit to Juba by Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, where South Sudan requested talks on deploying a joint force to secure at-risk oil fields. And coming up next, stay with us for more stories after the break. Welcome back. Staying with our Lebanon on the Map series, we feature young Lebanese talents who are making an impact at home and beyond borders. On to you, Yumna.
Thank you, Linda, for that. It's a pleasure to welcome back in our studios Fida Shaban. Fida has been the driving force behind Rag Mag magazine, writing in each issue, PRing on the ground, and ensuring Rag Mag gets as much exposure as possible. Now, she gets ready to set off on a new journey that will take her to Dubai as the new editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur magazine. Welcome back, Fida.
Hi, Amna.
Thank you for being here today. I wanted to know, first and foremost, what is it like after, is this the 47th issue? Am I getting it right?
Yeah, this is a little over 3-year anniversary.
What was it like writing the last issue of Rag Mag?
Very, very emotional. So difficult, actually. I cried. I wrote a letter online. I think the hardest was the Twitter reaction, definitely.
What was the Twitter reaction like?
I mean, the online community, we've been such a strong part of them, and they've been such a strong part of Rag Mag. So when I first released basically the letter that said, you know, I was leaving due to the country situation, actually.
Is that why you're leaving? Do you feel like you've had enough of what's been happening here politically and
yes,
the situation? This is why, otherwise you would have stayed, you think?
Definitely. I mean, if the magazine was situated anywhere else in the Middle East, I would not have left for anything. But Lebanon has escalated to the point, I mean, you yourself are the perfect reference on that. You did quite an emotional piece the other day on it, so.
Do you feel like, I know, and I've discussed this with you before, do you feel like this is giving up or it's just time to move on?
I mean, I think it's a bit of both. I feel like I've let myself down, and I've let the magazine down a bit. I mean, Gina, our publisher, constantly reassures me. She says to me, you know, you're not letting us down, and don't worry, and we understand. But I do feel like it's partly moving on to like new challenges, Entrepreneur Middle East, as you said, and also partly that I kind of gave up. I almost gave up on Lebanon.
I think I want to commend you, first of all, because I think it's very hard to start a magazine. I know a lot of people on Twitter said that you are this magazine and you've made it what it is. And enough about Lebanon. I just want to know, because I know there's a lot of negativity about it in the media, what do you take with you that's positive?
I mean, I think that by nature of the way we said Rag Mag is your magazine, I mean, what that means is it's the reader's magazine. So I'm still as much part of the magazine, and what I've taken from Lebanon is our readers. I mean, I still interact with them on a daily basis on Twitter. I was interacting with them and with you this morning as you and I were tweeting back and forth with them. The Rag Mag cult, as we kind of call each other.
Forget Rag Mag for a second. Okay. Is there anything in Lebanon that you're taking with you? Something that you enjoyed as somebody who came from abroad, made it work for her, by the way, and is leaving now? What do you take with you?
I mean, I think not so much enjoyed, but learned from, definitely the resilience. The resilience of everybody from my neighbors to my colleagues, to my friends, to my fellow media. I mean, we are certainly a resilient people. I had a friend of mine, he's actually a Twitter friend as well. He said, you know, the glass has been blown out in my house 5-6 times in my lifetime. It's fine, we put the glass back, everything goes on. I have learned a lot from the resilience of the Lebanese people and just the spirit to keep on going through everything.
I should mention it here because we mentioned it the first time around when you were here. Fida is actually Canadian Lebanese and used to reside in Canada before she came to Lebanon, and to her surprise, it turned out to be great, and then there were not so great moments politically, of course, as the whole country's going through
and standards
quite
of
a
living.
turmoil. And true as well. All right. Lebanon chapter is somewhat closing and a new one is opening right now. Entrepreneur Magazine, congratulations on that, by the way. It's Entrepreneur Magazine and Entrepreneur Levant. And you're kickstarting Entrepreneur Saudi Arabia, am I correct?
Yes, so basically the parent brand is Entrepreneur of the United States. We're the official licensing operatives in the Middle East. So there will be the Entrepreneur Middle East, which we've already got a unified Twitter handle, a unified web presence, which Entrepreneur is very digital, so we'll be continuing with that direction. There is the Entrepreneur Levant existing edition, which I've revamped and gone over, and hopefully you guys will all pick up and read. And definitely talk to me on Twitter and tell me your feedback.
I want a copy. Can I get a free copy sent to me from Dubai? I want to come visit you in Dubai and see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
No, this is
we'll put you on our mailing list.
Is there anything that you learned as editor-in-chief? What's the most important lesson that you learned here that you're taking with you to Dubai?
As editor-in-chief, I mean...
And there are two different kinds of magazines, am I right?
Completely. I mean, Entrepreneur is exactly what it sounds like. Businesses, startups, the economy, finance, everything relevant to make you a successful business person, including like, you know, building skills, skill set improvement, all of this. With RagMag, we've always had kind of like an economic turn, a current events turn. Economists' topics in general, I mean, have been covered to a degree only in RagMag. RagMag is generally more lifestyle. So what I learned from RagMag is basically the power of my staff. I mean, capitalizing on all their individual differences to really create a knockout product. I mean, I hope the readers as well can see that. And going forward with Entrepreneur Middle East, I mean, I'm going to have the same sort of diverse staff. Contributors maybe like you, Yumna.
I don't know.
Like to contribute on
Like
communications.
to, if you have me, I'll contribute anytime.
Yeah,
I would definitely do it for you, Fida. I just want to know, you know, also, you know, you've worked with different kinds of people, and I know you're moving to Dubai, and that's where it's based right now. Are there any fears, different challenges that await you that you can tell me about? I
mean, I'm not afraid at all, but I am definitely looking forward to learning from my new staff. I'm looking forward to the different challenges. I know it's quite a huge expat community because I've traveled extensively there for RagMag, so the expat community, I have to say, is quite efficient, quite on the ball. I asked them for an image today, it's there in the next 2 hours. So I don't know if I'd say I'm afraid, it's more like I'm embracing the pressure.
Embracing the pressure, because you know, you get it, as editor-in-chief, there's always pressure for deadlines and things of the sort. Is there a bit of sadness that you're leaving?
Yes.
There is. I could sense it a little bit. I was a bit, you know, I could sense it a little bit. I think it's because it's RagMag and it's Lebanon as a whole. Also.
I mean, I'm sad because I didn't want to give up on Lebanon, but
Lebanon
do
you feel like you've given up, or do you feel like it's like I said, it's time to maybe turn the page?
Look, it's a bit of both, because Entrepreneur does have a specific publication dedicated to Lebanon. So I'm always going to be here in some degree or another on the ground. But I actually said this in an article with Beirut.com. To some degree, I mean, it's, and I don't want to use the tired old love-hate relationship. I love the idea that Lebanon keeps on going, but I feel extremely sympathetic and empathetic with the people who have to keep on doing it.
Okay. But you'll still be with us, at least a foot here and a foot there, as they say.
To some degree,
and
yes.
Definitely congratulations on the new job, and congratulations on getting 47 issues of RagMag. It is quite a feat to accomplish. Not anybody could have done it. It took a Canadian Lebanese. Linda, you should know a little bit about this. Oh, Linda's American, I think. Linda, back to you. Thank you so much for being with us, Fida Shaban.
Thank you, Yumna.
Thank you, Yumna and Fida. And on that note, we end our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our top story. An Iranian delegation arrives in Lebanon to participate in the autopsy of the head of the Abdullah Azam Brigade, Majid al-Majid. And President Michel Sleiman and Interior Minister Medwan Shadbel meet in Babda to discuss the security situation in the country. And 25 militants are killed following Iraqi missile strikes on the city of Ramadi. That's it from us here for today. We'll be back again tomorrow with more updates, so make sure you...
نحن بحاجة إلى حكومة مسؤولة وفاعلة.
في عندنا 25 أذار بعتبره خط أحمر، نحن ما حدا يلعب معه.